Good evening, everyone. How is everybody doing? Welcome to episode 10, double digits. It's pretty crazy. Episode 10 of Minor League Fights and Insights, coming to you live from Minnesota. Um, Good evening. It's a little brisk, a little chilly. It probably is where most of you are. Others of you that it's a little warm. Hey, I'm envious of you. All right. So welcome. We're heading into week 5. Saturday are the games slated for Saturday evening. Should be a huge relief to get back out on the field with our teammates, getting the locker rooms, getting back into things from the little hiatus we had, which is always a little bit fun. Get to explore some things. We had a little bit of fun last Friday night as a minor league. Excited for everybody that was able to participate. I've got with us tonight, I've got Andrew Rastelli. He'll be helping out and talking through a lot of the different animations as the start of our new series called Animations Masterclass with Andrew Rastelli. And as always, most always, Daniel Wright. Welcome, my ever fearless co-host. Good evening, the two of you. Oh, do you know what? I need to unmute you. Give me 1 second. Bam. You're unmuted. Welcome. How are you two doing?
We're doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good. We're not perfect. We're just like you, just like everybody else out there. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, I want to kick off tonight. We've got two really cool Simulation Football League minor league players to come on, and I want to welcome both of them. We've got first, we have the cornerback for the Annapolis Navigators, King Rashid. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you inviting me on the show.
Absolutely. And with you, we also have your strong safety counterpart back there in the backfield, Derek Meerkat. Good evening to you, sir.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Going good. It's another day in paradise here in Minnesota.
Oh, it's pretty cold paradise.
Yes, absolutely. You are a fellow Minnesotan, I remember, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I've got some questions. We're here to get to know you a little bit. I've got a few a handful that I've got. I'll just sort of start walking through, and we'll just sort of go back and forth a little bit. I'll also give Daniel a chance to chime in, ask a question or two here or there, if he's got one. So first, we're just going to I want to know a little bit more about you. King, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is King Rashid? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, you are.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a king in my own right, and I have to prove that I live up to that title of
Cool.
king, I'm going to do that through the league. My name is Rashid, and a little bit about myself, I'm a family man. I live in San Diego, so congrats F47 on, joining the Mavs and coming to the town. I know you're going to, rep real hard and take off like an F47 like you already have. But I'm a family man, I played football, baseball, basketball up into high school, had a child, and then I went to work. So my sports career kind of ended, and now I'm starting it all, a new journey with the SFL. It's exciting.
That's awesome. That's I don't think you're alone in that at all. A lot of times, well, I am 41, but I do a lot. I work a lot. I personally never got a chance to play any sports in high school, so this is my opportunity to sort of flex my muscles in that a little bit, simulated muscles, right? But yeah, I totally get you. And I think you're totally welcome here. Like, I appreciate you being here. Derek, how about you? Tell me a little bit about who you are.
Minnesota born and raised. I just got married last year. We just got a new house last year too, so it's been a pretty exciting year for us. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I love football, obviously, or else why would I be here? I love video games, D&D fanatic, and over the past year and a half or so, my wife and I have really gotten into board games. We're getting quite the collection of board games.
Very cool. I just got one last week called Escape the Dark Sector, sort of a role playing kind of tabletop game as well. Anyways, we'll talk about more of these things later. I bet you're in
we
good.
definitely could talk more board games later.
You're in good company, definitely. Cool. Derek, well, since you were the last to talk, tell me about your SFL journey. What has it been like for you so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. I mean, I love the people. It's a great experience. Everybody's been super welcoming, and I love Annapolis locker room is rocking. We have a blast in that locker room, and we keep it hyped.
Awesome. And King, what has your experience been like so far in your journey here with the SFLm?
I mean, just man, I never knew that simulation football could be this exciting. You know, I played Madden for all the years, Tecmo Ball and all that. But it's like this is it. This is what it was all about. This is what it was all for. But the journey's been great, man. I mean, like I said, every week I'm looking forward to new progression. What's gonna happen new in the league? What's gonna be the new win, new loss? You know, and I agree with Meerkat, man. Our locker room is pumped up. Um, you know, I kind of rub shoulders with Meerkat. We go back and forth in the chat, and I mean, this is just a exciting journey. Journey's just been great, man. I really appreciate this league.
Good. What if there's been one moment, whether it's on the field or off the field, King? What's one of your favorite moments that you've had so far? Is there one that stands out as like that? You know, that was like a great day or a great play I did, or someone made this great joke in Gen Chat or in the locker room or something. Tell me about that. Is there one that stands out?
Okay, okay, yeah, straight. You know, the first time I took the field with Navs. And I mean, man, that I don't think I ever. Well, I mean, every week is exciting, but that first game, and then I got an INT against Scar Patterson, and we just blew out a out, and man, I was just pumped. And then the first thing that came to my mind is, hey, man, we got a defense, and so I mean that was my moment right there. Just kind of like that first game and I didn't know what to expect really. And once I was able to log in the chat, live, and I mean, man, it was. I can't even. I'm just speechless right now, man. I was just that day that was it for me, and I'm sold. I don't even know. I don't want to be 70 years old still doing this, but maybe that's what happened.
You'll be like on your like fourth or fifth player after retiring number of times. I agree. Agreed. I can't imagine not playing this anymore as soon as I joined. So, how about you for Derek? What is there any certain point in your journey so far that stands out as like a favorite moment for you?
I remember week 3 against Boise. I got a pick 6, and I I was standing up and I was just yelling. And when I got that touchdown, I was hyped. It was a blast. And then I also, I mean, even off the field, like the past 2 weeks, me and Johnny Reno have been going back and forth about this game this week, and that's really fun to me too. I like the little banter back and forth.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch too on the outside. And getting to know you and same with Johnny and a variety of people in the league, those that do enjoy a little bit of the banter, the competitiveness. It's fun to watch. But also understanding that beneath it all, we are all sort of a member of this one community. Sort of keeps us fresh and lively a little bit. Daniel, did you have any questions for either of them right now?
Yeah, sure. So me and Axel, as we all know, we were in the minor leagues last season. And the very first thing we were taught is get your name out there. So I want to ask both of you, have you guys, since the major league is over for the time being, have you guys contacted any owner specifically? And how has your experience been with them? You don't have to tell us the owners, nothing like that. Just tell us how your experience has been getting into contact so far. We can start with Mr. Meerkat.
Uh, I have reached out to a few owners. Most of them have been great at getting back to me. There's a couple that I really didn't hear much from, but uh, the ones that have, they they've been very upfront with me about when they want to talk to me and that they keep an eye on me and all that stuff. It's been a good experience. All in all.
Okay, and Mr. King.
Yes, sir. A couple owners, yeah. Just kind of trying to see how it would go with the draft, and I did watch the last year's draft, the last season, excuse me, draft to kind of see how that thing goes, and but the owners have reached back to me and looking to see if they, have a spot or how that works. So I'm still trying to, am I going to progress my player? Am I able to even qualify to you get drafted. So these are the things that I'm kind of, they've been helping me with that. But then sometimes, like I said, they, it's kind of like I'm waiting to hear what the next move is, or so. Um, but yeah, I've talked to a couple owners for sure.
Good. Yeah, I'm sure. With the dates now fully released for when the re-signing happens, starts and finishes, when the free agency starts and finishes, and with the draft order, I think that's going to be pretty huge. As soon as like the re-signing and or sorry, not the re-signing, the free agency ends, that's going to be probably a really big hot time for people reaching out to both of you. And it should be also, I think, take note of those dates that Cam released in his article earlier today. That's probably a great time. The last couple of days of free agency signing and the first day or two after that, hit those DMs up, the GMs in the DMs. That's probably a good time to be doing that. So cool.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. King, tell me about like what is your ideal pro team? Like, is there certain characteristics that you're looking for a team that sort of would fit the bill for you where you want to go?
Um, well, I like to build, so I'm not. I'm not the type to. I'm so new, I'm not the type to want to just jump on the winning team. The
Mm-hmm.
team that's like, say, for instance, Baltimore. Just some of these teams that are just winners. I want to start with a team that you know maybe didn't do so well, or just maybe I'm hopefully that missing piece, and then maybe I can get on the field and help get us to the playoffs at least.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like when you're describing that, I'm just imagining it's the embodiment of that whole hashtag, make an impact, right? The what you see a lot of times, that scrolls at the bottom of the the games as we're watching them. Like you want to be able to be at a place that doesn't necessarily take you for granted, but you're that missing piece, that King Rashid shaped hole that they were missing, and really
Exactly.
brings them to that next level. That's awesome. Derek, same question.
Okay.
What are any traits characteristics for pro teams that you're looking for?
Um, I guess first and foremost for me is a team that knows how to have fun. I mean, a team that wants to win and wants to do well, but at the end of the day, they keep it light and try to have fun. But I also do want to. I would love to be in a team where I can fit into that defense really well and make an impact day one.
Yeah, I see big things for you. Coming at that strong safety perspective or position. It is a key position out there on the defense. Making sure that there is nobody. You're like that safety net alongside the free safety. For passes that might go. You're the one who could keep them from going big, or the big runs that can keep them from going big. I see that being an awesome spot for you. So I'm glad that you're here. Imagine yourself now, for both of you, on the verge of retirement after a successful, long SFL pro career. Looking back, what would you want to be known for throughout the league or through other players? What do you want them to have like say at your retirement party? That you accomplished, or like what's one thing that you'd like them to say? Derek, you can start off. What would that be like, or what would they say?
I guess outside the field, I would love I would love them to say that I'm a team player and I hype my players up, because every time one of my teammates gets a big player, something like that, I just get hyped for him, and I just want to be known as a guy that is always there for his teammates. And then like on the field, I mean that pick I was talking about, that pick six, I want to be known as a doctor because I make house calls, you know.
Yep. Awesome. And King, what about you? What do you want your legacy to be after a successful pro career?
Yeah, that's a big one, man. There's so many different things, but I mean, um, I kind of just want to be someone that has made an impact and maybe s- uh, started another franchise, or I mean, excuse me, expansion team, or someone has helped others that didn't know about the league come in. I mean, I got my brother in and one of my good buddies at work in so far, but I want to be able to help the league grow. I want to be known as somebody that's kind of helped, made an impact, helped the league grow, and maybe took it to another level, or just did something like that, and help build the league and promote and stuff.
Definitely. I mean, the impact that you've had simply bringing two more individuals in to the fold, in just the last month or two during this last season, you know, oh, just little bits of things. That's pretty huge to me. Like that's a big thing. And if you keep doing that, you're going places. So I'm really excited for both of you. King or
Thank you.
Derek, did you have any questions for us? Did you want to anything you would like to know that we could help with right now, King?
Yeah, maybe I don't know what kind of pull you guys have, but maybe you can talk to Jacob Clear, see if I can. I mean, he got me at rank number 8 on the cornerback list. I'm trying to get to number 1, so I don't know. If maybe I could get to move up to number 5. But yeah, no, that's about it, man. Right
No.
now, I'm just excited. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, no.
You know what? We'll talk to Jacob for you, just for you, though.
Thanks, man.
And Derek, how about you? Is there any questions or anything? Any last closing comments either?
I guess my only question is involving the draft. Do guys generally know if they're going to be drafted?
I'll speak from my experience because you had a different experience, right, Axel?
I did a little bit.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't know where I was getting drafted. Tulsa contacted me Friday. The draft was Saturday, saying we might have a spot for you if things line up. I thought I was going somewhere different if I was going in the draft. Luckily, things lined up and I got into the second round. Had no idea. They called me 3 minutes before their pick was in. So I got a phone call in the chat with everybody else in the voice call, and that's when I found out. So it varies between people.
And for me, I had made my commitment early on, like maybe a month or two even before the draft. Um, you know, uh, Mutual commitment from both sides. Like I really want to be there, you really want me there. Let's make this happen. And so for me, leading up to the draft, I was letting people know, I thanks for your interest. I already have a commitment. I had some great conversations, and that led to what happened in this last off season and things. But so I sort of knew that again, it's never 100%. I was a little concerned, would San Diego or DC be picking me before Sioux Falls did in that or whatnot. But I had a verbal or written in DM confirmation and conversation beforehand. So I had a really good sense of what my draft day was going to be like. But again, that's not everybody's. It might not be your cup of tea. You might like the surprise. I talked with Cody Griffin beforehand too. He wasn't sure where he might be going. There was a couple people that were interested in him, and he's like, "I'm in it. Like wherever I go, I just want to sort of roll the dice, and whoever gets me, kind of thing." So lots of opportunities. So I think it's up to you and what you hear, what you feel, and there are people. The draft does shift and based on people being selected before you and other things. So if someone was like, I want to get that player or that position, and then poof, all of a sudden they're gone, they might change their entire plan midway through, and you might just be getting picked, without any like, hey, I only had a minor conversation with them, but they seem to like me, or something. So it can be very dynamic, 2 days. So there's a sense of some comfort if you do get some confirmation, but there's also a little bit of dynamicness to it as well. So does that help?
Yeah, helps me a lot. Thank you.
Cool. All right.
I did have one more question though,
Sure.
actually. I did want to know with you and Daniel, how it well with Daniel, I guess since he was in the minors and he was drafted. How does your progressions? I don't know if Andrew can answer this or all you all. How do those progressions go once you get drafted? I know when you're in the minors, I guess you get a little more attributes or faster. You can progress faster, but once you get to the pros, is it just a lot slower? Is that true, or how does that work?
Sure. I'll try my best, and if there's any additional information that you two want to share, feel free. So with this last SFLm season, they've installed the exact same number, like the copper, bronze, silver, gold menus for points that you get to earn to apply to your player for progressions. So there's no difference anymore there. And I think before it was everybody was progressing as a copper. Since then, so the reason that you can progress faster as a minor league person or minor league player is because there's progressions during the off season, where in the pros there is not. So it's only during the time of the regular season for the pros that you have to progress, and then the off season your progression stops. Where in the minors you guys were able to progress even up to the week before the regular season started, and you're able to then continue progressing through the season. Did I say that right, Andrew, Daniel? Okay.
Yeah, so it sounded right to me.
Okay, good. Right. So there really isn't too much difference. It's just the ability to progress during the off season, and that very well may change in the coming seasons as well, as the minor league starts to more emulate or mirror what the pros do as well, to give a very similar experience there, and getting into the same system, I believe, as well in the portal. So, yeah, I hope that helps. Cool. All right. Well,
thank you.
You bet. We're here to give you some insights and no fighting. Well, King, Derek, thank you both so much for joining us tonight, and looking forward to big things. And any SFLM players that are listening right now, whether that's live or in video on demand, reach out if you want to be on the show. We'd love to have you. As always, thank you so much, King and Derek.
Hey, thank you, Axel. Now, do you want to be called Axel or F47 Raven?
Axel is good. That 47 is my number. I was just playing with like being a jet fighter. So anyways, just some fun. You can that'll be your special pet name for me. How about that? The F47. All right, cool. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right,
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Go Navs.
All right. So appreciate everything there. Let's move on then. So the next thing we all wanted to talk about is the Pro Bowl that happened on Friday. Great. It was a great game. We had myself, Daniel, Johnny Reno, and Shane Kaufman in the booth, trying to do it the best as we can for some broadcast and some play-by-play a little bit here or there, and some discussion about what's going on the field, what's going on. Just some good discussion, I hope. But anyways, I wanted to share, first the East won by 9 points, 30-21. But I wanted to share the other big, huge success, even beyond that, was we had a total of 99 community votes that went into deciding who was going to be on the different team rosters. To me, I was expecting going into this 30 or 40, but to have 99 is huge. We were one away from an actual 3-digit 100 number. During the broadcast, we had 112 unique live viewers on Twitch. At times, there were 50 plus viewers watching. Since then, the video on demand for Twitch has already received 365 views. And then I also downloaded and re-uploaded it to YouTube, and that currently has about 49 views. So evidently, you guys love the heck out of this thing. So that was really excited to see the power that you guys had to sort of come around as a community around this event. Really blew me away. It was just an idea I had the week before, and we sort of were able to pull it together. Who knows what the future is for it, but I'm really excited that we had it. We had an opportunity for it during the all league bye, and I just wanted to give big kudos to you all for everything that you've done as part of it to bring that sucker to life. So that's great. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the games coming up this next week. So week 5, we're heading into week 5, Saturday games. They are meant to be, I believe, I'm not sure if Cam released the times at all recently or not, but it sounds like they're going to be the same type of times that we've had on Thursdays and Fridays, just tonight, this time on Saturdays. I think heading into the rest of the year, for the most part, most Saturdays, now that the pro season is done. The order right now, at the time of my making this graphic, before starting the show, the order was not certain, but we have Annapolis coming into town to Tacoma to take them on. This is going to be probably a huge game to watch as the two top teams battle it out to see who the battle for supremacy of the SFLm right now. We have Lexington, who's right now tied for number 3 against Madison in the why am I blanking on this? The power rankings. So Lexington is going to visit San Jose. And then we have Madison going into Salt Lake City. And then we have Memphis at Ottawa. Daniel, is there any standouts for these games from your perspective?
Well, besides the Tacoma Navigators game, that's going to be the game of the night. And also, Cam is actually posting in our chat room the times of the game specifically.
Excellent. So yeah, we've got Lexington at San Jose at 7. Again, these times are Eastern times. So you might have to do your hourly adjustments for where you're at in the country. Annapolis at Tacoma is at 7:20. Memphis at Ottawa is at 9, and Madison at Salt Lake City is the nightcap game at 9:20. We also verified they're going to be continuing to be streamed on the SFL YouTube channel, not on Twitch. So same place you've been going, same times, just a different day on Saturday. Looking forward to it. Excellent. Thank you so much, Cam, in the chat. Daniel, any games that stood out to you?
I'm looking forward to seeing the Madison and Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City has been known to have a good defense. They've been playing pretty well on the defensive side. I would like to see if their offense can get going a bit more than they have, and see. This is gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be fun to watch.
Cool. Yeah, we're doing a little bit quicker here for to be able to save us some time on the back end so that we can get into the animation. So, anyways, good luck on Saturday. I'm looking forward to watching these games and see how things unfold. But without further ado, I want to transition here over to the animations masterclass with our sir Andrew Rastelli. I've just knighted you somehow. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm really looking forward to sort of demystifying what some of these are and how they might play out, and really, what are they? If that makes any sense. That's a very broad question, but anyways. So thank you. And so we've grouped these. It sounds like I was discussing with you earlier on in trying to figure out how do we want to present this kind of information. There's some big buckets or groups of animations for different player positions. So I've got them coalesced around these certain play groups that we'll be just sort of stepping through. So I will share this. Ta-da! The magic of screen share. All right, so we've got the animations masterclass with Andrew Rastelli. We're starting off with the quarterbacks, and tell me more about how the quarterbacks use animations, or let's go through these animations. Do you have a preference on what we do?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So basically, let's start with what an animation is. So in All Pro Football 2K, there's a group of things called abilities, and there's some abilities that don't actually provide any kind of real change to the player's animations. It just increases their attributes. So there's one like laser arm, which increases passing accuracy. There's one like rocket arm, which increases passing strength, but it doesn't actually do anything else besides that. So those type of abilities, if you were to look on a list online, are banned in the SFL due to us having a progression system that does not require that. So what we have are the remaining abilities that have what we deem as animations. And so, for example, if we look at the top of the list here, you have fourth quarter comeback. So fourth quarter comeback doesn't have a tangible attribute increase. Instead, what it is your player, your QB, just happens to play better with 2 minutes left in the half. So you have the opportunity of, or sorry, not in the half, just in the fourth quarter. So they have the chance to be coming in and making those big plays at the end of the game. But it is specific to that period of the game. You can't really say what does or doesn't happen in order to give that boost, and it's more of an animation that kind of takes place. So as we go through these, none of them actually increase by a definitive attribute number. All of these are activated a percentage of the time. They all activate at different percentages of the time. They activate depending on situation, like fourth quarter comeback. I mean, there's all kinds of things that play into it. So we know what most of these do, but some of them we have no idea what they do. We just know they do something. Leadership is the most popular one. As you can see, it says makes nearby players better. That is just the favorite theory as to what leadership does. We're pretty sure that's what it does. We have no idea how better it makes them. We have no idea what the range is, what is considered a nearby player. There's a theory that it only affects other people in the position group. So having it on a quarterback actually would do nothing, but having it on a linebacker would help all the linebackers. Having it on an offensive lineman would help all the offensive linemen. That's not necessarily true either. Like, we just don't know. So, but we do see that every time it's on a star player, we see a tangible effect that is doing something that makes the players around them better. That is one of the most popular animations for quarterbacks. So that's just kind of an overall how to think about animations as we kind of go through this list.
Sure. So they're almost like I equate it to like there. It's just a sort of a special event that can get called or get the AI somehow based on certain, like you said, situations if things align, and it's like, oh, this one looks like a good time to have this event, to see animation happen because it I've seen like closing speed. So this linebacker is running after a halfback or something that's going down
Right.
the field. Trigger, and it can do that. It doesn't happen all the time, but it like there's a propensity and somehow in the background there's a percentage or a random dice that gets rolled that to
Right.
determine does it play out or does it not, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So so if you want to go to, I don't know, do you just want me to kind of run down the list here?
That
okay.
works.
So we already touched on fourth quarter comeback. There's really not much more to say on that. I'm going to hit breakaway burst when we talk about running backs because
Sure.
it just has more of an effect there. So when we come to QB, you now have clutch. So clutch and leadership are the two animations that are available to all players in the SFL. They're the only two animations that are available to all players in the SFL. Clutch is similar to what is basically what you have written here for fourth quarter comeback. It makes the player play better with under 2 minutes left in half. And it is supposed to make the player play better when the team needs them most, when they're up against the wall, when they're running out of time and they need to they need to make the clutch play and pull their team out from the ashes or to seal up a game, that clutch player performs that action. So obviously anyone in the league can have that. There's no real definitive action that they take that makes them more clutch. But we definitely do see an effect on players that have that animation.
Interesting.
Deception we don't really see in the SFL. The pump fake is not something that the AI uses commonly, but it does use it. What the pump fake is supposed to do from an AI perspective is when the QB does a pump fake, then the defensive backs are supposed to make a break on the ball and have the ball not there, or and then they break their coverage, and then the quarterback can then throw to an open receiver. Deception is supposed to make the tendency for the defensive back to break on that pump fake happen more often. You'll have to talk to coaches and owners about why it is not used very often, but chances are it's just because the effect is just not great enough to spend the value or the time to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership, we just talked about. There's not much more to say about leadership because it is the biggest question mark in this entire list. Pass threat makes draw plays more effective. Yes, I believe that's correct. So pass threat is another one that we don't really use in the SFL that often for the same reason, like I was saying for deception. We don't really see enough of an effect to take the time and resources to, for teams to take the time and resources to add it. Pocket presence. So this is probably the third most popular animation for quarterbacks. Pocket presence increases the quarterback's accuracy while in the pocket, not necessarily under pressure, just while in the pocket. But they kind of hold on to that composure before they kind of start to feel the heat of the defenders coming in and making a bad throw under pressure. So since in the SFL we don't have pretty much all of our quarterbacks are pocket passers, that's why it's very popular, because we do see an effect there. We have so many great defensive linemen, and we have under-talented offensive linemen that you want them to be able to take that heat and be able to make an accurate throw. And Eddie makes a good point that it also makes QBs less likely to scramble because they are a pocket passer. QB evade. QB gains the ability to make special evasions from defenders. That is true. You'll see, even without this animation, you'll see QBs kind of duck under a sack. They will kind of spin out from a defender. It does happen. This makes it more likely to happen. The reason that you won't see this animation taken very often is because of the next animation, quick release. So quick release is the second most popular animation we have for QBs. The QB makes quick reads and throws the ball as fast as possible. And especially when we were talking about with the defensive linemen, you want those QBs not taking sacks. And one of the best ways to do that is for them to not have the ball. So with quick release, you run into a couple of problems, actually. So quick release, when they're making a quicker read, means they might not see an open receiver in their third progression because they've already thrown it to the first or second receiver, and maybe they're not quite open. So they do make a quicker pass, but you might sacrifice something to make that happen. Also, if you have a player with pocket presence and quick release, you have officially nullified the effect of one of those animations. You can't have pocket presence and not stand in the pocket. You can't have quick release and stand there reading your progressions, gaining heat, and throwing the ball. So one of those animations is going to cancel the other one out. yes, they don't necessarily both activate on the same play, but one might activate instead of the other in a situation where you might not want it. So those two things are counteractive to what they're supposed to accomplish. So when players, teams, and coaches are looking at how to progress their QB, they should be looking at both of those animations and seeing what they feel will provide the most value to their play style. Scrambler reduces the penalty for throwing while on the run. In the SFL, it also unlocks the scramble attribute as a secondary attribute to be progressed and increases it from the default 30 up to 60, and then it's progressible up to 90. Without the scrambler attribute, that attribute remains at 30 and cannot be increased. This does not mean that the QB will start running more. That is kind of a misconception with it. When they're throwing on the run, it's because protection is broken down and they're running for their life. They're not actually going to go all Lamar Jackson and run for 60 yards a game and 4 touchdowns. It's not going to happen. That's not really what it's about. It's about escaping the pass rush. Tough as Nails is probably the most popular low value animation that we have for the QBs. So as a player continues to get hit, or as a QB, I should say, continues to get hit over and over and over again, that composure drops because they actually start to feel that heat faster, which is pretty real to life. And because of that, they will make quick throws and inaccurate throws. Tough as Nails is good for quarterbacks who take a lot of sacks or get knocked down a lot, because even if they get rid of the ball and they get knocked down, it still has the same effect as when they get sacked. So that's another one where teams, coaches, players should see what their play style is looking like and kind of the pressure that they're taking, and see whether or not Tough as Nails is something that they want to spend the time and money on, because they see the value in being able to take the punishment.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned, the play style, and I'm curious on, again, having done it more recently with scouting and simming, especially at the Legends setting, you don't ever see rollouts run by any quarterbacks. Plus, in my simmings, I've seen them done horribly, that they're a sack machine. Do you think like scrambler for like rollouts and other things, would that give the quarterback, that doesn't really seem to have an effect there? No, it's just sort of, okay. I was curious.
Yeah, like I said, scrambler has nothing to do with their ability to run. The thing is that it's about being able to throw while on the run. So it has nothing to do with them running. It's about them escaping the pass and throwing accurately. It's Aaron Rodgers, throwing like across the body while he's running towards the sideline trying to avoid the sack.
Gotcha.
And making an accurate throw while he does it. That's the best real life example I can think of. He's mastered that throw across the body.
And one thing I wanted to get your take on too is Eddie in the chat had mentioned that quick release is a must-have for quarterback, decreasing, showing some examples or evidence with Ashley's low sack rating in this last season, versus where you had mentioned that pocket presence is the third most selected animation, and like those two are in battle or conflict with each other. Do you have a stance on where either of these go, or do we know of do you have an example of a quarterback who has pocket presence that still doesn't get sacked but is strong? Anything like that?
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay.
Maybe a couple seasons ago when I was manually doing all the progressions, yes. But I couldn't even tell you which quarterbacks have which animation anymore. Sure. I don't really have a stance on one way or the other. It really kind of comes down to what they feel like they feel like is best for their player.
Mhm.
They want to be able to do that which they think will be the the best for the best in their situation.
Mhm.
And really, it kind of comes down to coach and team preference as well.
That
Because
makes sense.
you'll see some guys that they'll want one over the other. It's all the way. It's
Mhm.
all always.
And probably very, very could weigh heavily on the type of plays that you select as well. You're not going to choose one that has 2 quick outs with a long route. You probably if your quarterback has a quick release, it's probably never going to get to that long route. They're just going to go for the quick outs kind of thing. So it probably has an impact there and helps to change the type of
Right.
game plan that you might be planning for, or your mentality,
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
mindset. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Daniel, do you have any questions about QBs at all for animations, or do you want to move on to running backs?
Let's move on to running backs. We still got a little bit of time. Let's see how much we can cram in.
All right. So running backs joined with fullbacks because they have the same options, right? Andrew?
Yeah. So running backs are the only position in the league that have specific archetypes involved with them. So each running back has to choose what type of running back they want to be. So we have finesse, balanced, and power, and that's based off the running styles that All Pro Football 2K offers. So in addition to that, the archetypes also dictate how the height and weight a running back is able to be, because you can't have like a 5'8" or what was it? You can't have like a 6'4" finesse back. He goes up to like 6'2" or something like that. You can't have a finesse back who's 250 pounds, because that doesn't really make sense for the most part. So that's what we do there. So there are three high value animations for the running backs that are definitely considered to be the most powerful in the game. And those are battering ram, branching tackles, and breakaway burst. And so that's why we split them into each individual archetype. So not every running back is able to get all three anymore. Now they get to choose which one. So we'll start with those. So the power archetype gets battering ram. Battering ram is what you'll see players like Jet Zero, Phoenix Jones. They run through and they just truck the players and they just drop them to the ground. And that is most likely battering ram. Now, there's some theories that battering ram works either most effective with a gold star player, or is only effective with a gold star player, but that has never been confirmed. So as far as we can tell, it definitely works on all running backs. Branching tackles. So branching tackles actually provide some animations for the player that allows them to shake off tackle animations. So that it's an interesting name. I'm not sure how branching tackles, what that terminology really is, but basically you have a guy that comes in and will wrap up around a running back, and branching tackles gives them the ability to shake that off. Breakaway burst, in my opinion, is the most powerful animation in the game. So breakaway burst has the ability to, at the flip of a switch, makes a player just take off at full speed. It is possible that breakaway burst increases the player's attributes up to 99, the speed up to 99, and makes them faster than everybody. We are also that it's possible that breakaway burst just makes them fast enough to run away from everyone else. However, a defender with closing speed can catch a can catch a ball carrier with breakaway burst. I say ball carrier because it's available for wide receivers and tight ends. You will see them be able to catch up to them. It's a long road in order to get it. It's kind of like watching DK Metcalf run down that pick six that a couple seasons ago. But it is possible. So you just have to. That's why closing speed is probably the most popular defensive animation, is because it's able to catch a player with breakaway burst. So because those are so powerful, that's why those animations were broken up, and no one running back can have all three anymore. So we'll go back up to the top of the list. So Arm of Steel is the ability to use, it says it's the second level stiff arm. So if you play a non-AI versus AI game, you will have the ability to use these things like juke and stiff arm and scissor kick and spin and like those moves. So those abilities are I think what is it? I think you can charge it up in order to give it like a more powerful effect, but obviously it takes longer to charge it. So whatever. So what Arm of Steel, Ankle Breaker, Cyclone, and Scissor Kick, what they do is give that charge the ability to hit another gear and make them more powerful than a player who doesn't have those. Mm-hmm. So Arm of Steel is a stiff arm, just putting defender in the dirt and running off. Ankle Breaker is a juke. So you'll see a runner make a juke move to the side, causing a missed tackle. And then I'm skipping on down to the bottom. The Scissor Kick is Walter Payton's move, where you kind of step to the side and your legs close to get, and that's able to dodge a tackle that way. So the animations, man, I'm going to go all over the place just because it makes more sense. So then you have stop on a dime. So the hesitation is the ability to literally stop all forward motion and cause a defender to kind of like whiff by in front of you, and then you keep running. So those are all the moves that you can do. So you can see how APF has a lot of focus on the running back, which is kind of why we had to break them up into archetypes. And then there's the spin move, a Cyclone. So you charge up the Cyclone and you're able to, we see it, we call it the washing machine. And they're able to they keep spinning and spinning and cause a lot of misses. And the spin is probably the most effective one in terms of causing missed tackles. So we have these other animations. There's finesse and then there's power. So finesse is supposed to give them a second level of all these moves. However, it doesn't make them as powerful at the top of the meter. And power. So like they give you the individual ones. So it
seems like it's sort of a catch-all, but not 100% of it, but like you get 50 kind of thing or something.
The effectiveness of finesse and power, the animations, as to whether or not they're actually giving you a severe advantage, is still up in the air. We don't really know how much it's actually effective. So we do see a lot more finesse than power because it does give that spin move. You'll see finesse on a player more often than Cyclone, but overall it does help. It's hard to say that it doesn't help. Finesse is the only running style that can really have a spin move. You're not going to see a power back like Squarebush who has the power running style try to perform a spin move. In fact, I don't even think they do. I think they only try to barrel defender over, or they try and stiff arm them in some capacity.
Agreed. I'm looking at power and I see lower the shoulder and stiff arm. I'm like, I feel like that's in the Pro Bowl game that we had, the Prospect Bowl. That was what I
Right.
saw Squarebush doing, is just sort of, you literally see them lowering his shoulder and like laying the defenders out.
So now we do allow like a finesse back to take the power animation, but we don't really see that too often, and we definitely don't see it being a big advantage one way or the other to mismatch the animations like that. So the other running back specific animation, and it's probably the most popular animation outside of the featured animations, which are battering ram, branch attacks, and breaking burst. The most popular one outside of those is workhorse. Workhorse apparently makes your running back play better the more carries he gets. And it kind of works in conjunction with clutch if you think about it, because if like Ezekiel Love, for example, led the league in carries last season, he's getting fed the ball, he's hitting his 40th carry, and he has clutch. Well, now you have the ability. Now you have a workhorse running back that is playing better, but then is also possibly playing even better in a clutch situation. So those two in conjunction, I feel like have a pretty good synergy that you don't really see in a lot of other places in the league. So in a lot of other positions in the league, but it's a pretty powerful one because as far as animations go, it's one that is very dependable in terms of actually activating and getting your player to play at a higher level. So that's one you will always see on a running back. It's almost impossible to think of a running back without workhorse.
And we haven't touched on this yet. We haven't talked about it. I don't think we've even mentioned it tonight, and I don't think we need to at this point. I think, so is the concept of low value versus high value, and that kind of stuff. I was trying to color code some of these. I started doing that for quarterbacks and running backs, and I got to defensive linemen and linebackers, which we have merged into the group, and they're all over the place based on their position. But what I would say is an easy place to find that for people who do not have access to the portal is to go to the player builder, the thing that you started off taking a look at that has at the bottom of that, you can switch to your position you want to look at. Now the bottom has the check boxes for both high value and low value, or simply reach out to any of us and we can help find that information to you as well. So it just, as you're considering it, the low value will take almost half the time ish, 2/3 of the time to get to earn the ability to take a low value versus a high value. But again, that's based on how much impact that they will have on the field. So I know clutch is almost always, if not always, again with leadership, is a high value animation because it has noticeable high value out on the field. Where things like I don't know, maybe Arm of Steel or Ankle Breaker are
low value.
The low value. So sort of the smaller one-ups are the low value versus the overarching umbrella type of ones, or like those three archetype specific pieces are the high value ones as well.
Yeah, I will say that for as far as low and high value, there's two things that we consider when we label them as such, and it's the same thing with primary and secondary attributes. It's one is how effective is this particular thing on your position, and two, what is the market value of that animation. So if we have say it's determined eventually that finesse, the animation, is very, very useful, and suddenly every running back is gaining finesse, we will change that to a high value animation. Because whether or not I have seen that I've seen that it is effective or not, the teams have determined that it is very desirable and of high value. So we will change that value. So those things aren't necessarily fixed, but we keep an eye on kind of the market, and so we keep an eye on that. So consider that just when you're kind of thinking like if something is higher low value, just to kind of give you some insight as to why one is low value compared to high value. I don't think we've really moved any from a higher or low value. I don't think we have, because to be honest, the market for those animations hasn't really changed since we instituted the high and low value system in season 11. In season 10, there was no split; they were all the same value. And then in season 11, I switched it up, and we had to split it up because it just made more sense.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make any sense for someone to pay more for Arm of Steel. It's like no one uses it, and no one really knows whether or not it's effective. So it's like, why are you paying the same amount as Workhorse? So we split that up.
Good.
Cool. And then I saw, I think I saw a question in here. I wanted to. Oh, Lottie Lou said, "How major are animations? Is it a must-have in the SFL?" And the answer is an overwhelming yes.
Yes.
It's a must-have in the SFL.
And I'm wondering,
Eddie has a good question. This is good for the minors.
Yeah.
When is the right time to get an animation? Anyone have any opinions on when the right time is?
I could share mine.
Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I was wondering, Andrew, are you fine if we we'll pause with the animations at those moments, and
fine.
we'll just finish out with this simple question and try to with a not so simple answer. So with animations, I'm of the mindset that animations only happen in certain situations, in certain events. There are things that can happen, not all the time, even when the situation is right. You still want to. The thing you can rely back on that is a consistent every single play you're out there are your attributes to me. So you want to be able to, advancing and progressing your attributes, getting your consistency up, because again, that consistency is your in D&D, for those of us that like rolling dice, it's sort of like a modifier. If you have a 60 consistency, you're only going to be playing at your highest percentage or highest value of whatever your attributes are 60% of the time. Let's say if you're at a 90, you're playing 90% of the time at your max values of your attributes. That's how I sort of think about it. The other downfall from taking animations too early is that it really does an artificial boost to your value, which then all of a sudden could put you into a silver or a gold, and therefore you have very little to no ability to increase any of your attributes anymore, other than like in gold, saving 3 weeks to get 1 or 2 or 3 points kind of thing. So it's kind of that when is the right time, I would say towards the end of your silver, and maybe at that silver to push you over to gold, like tiptoe up to that silver line, and then you save and do a animation to get you into gold. But at that point, you should be a really solid non-animated player. That's my perspective, though.
I mean, you want my perspective?
Sure.
It depends on the position, and that is a mathematical thing, because positions that have fewer attributes to progress gain value faster. So running backs progress slowly because there's literally no attribute they can't progress besides durability. They progress all of them, and that includes run block and pass block and so on. But then you look at like corner, and they have 4 primary attributes, and their secondaries are kind of hit or miss again in terms of their effectiveness. So they also have a very wide bronze range, if that makes sense. So when your player hits bronze, as a corner, it actually takes a long time to get to silver, and then they have a smaller silver range. It takes a lot less time for them to hit gold. So for a corner, you can max out all of your primary attributes and get a pretty good bump on your secondaries, still be bronze, get a low or high animation, and still be bronze.
Wow.
And then you could then kind of like trickle things into your secondary animations until you hit silver, at which case, you know, you kind of do whatever. But it would not, I would be building my corners, for example, to max out their primaries, maybe throw some points into consistency and jump and aggressiveness, and then I would hit them with closing speed, and then I would then just finish off some secondaries until they hit silver, and then they would just kind of do that +3 to secondaries. But it all depends on your position, because mathematically not everyone's progressing at the same rate due to position. They're adding the same amount of points every week due to the rules, but the positions progress at different rates.
And that's all, again, based on the number of primary and secondary attributes that they have spread out across their player abilities.
Right.
Gotcha. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is about progression I mean, all of a sudden this divulged into a progression type of approach. Again, this very well might be based on position, but I found like as a copper, it's easy. It's I would go on I would say this is 66% of the time primary, 33% of the time secondary. Make sure that you don't forget the secondary during that. When you get to bronze, I would say most of the time, I'd say focus on your primary. It's only a +2. Keep getting that, because when you hit silver, you get a +3, which versus a +1 primary. I'd almost say that would be a good place to, if you're going to put stuff into, you get that +3 silver is a good place to build up some of your silver attributes. And then before you know it, you'll be bumping gold. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where the design was when we created it. Was, you know, we wanted to make it very, very clear to, these are the attributes you want, so progress these now because they happen real fast. And then as soon as you hit bronze, as soon as you are a star color, like now those are hard to get, and really the secondaries are not so hard to get until you're gold, and then they're really hard, and then all attributes are really hard to get when you're gold.
Yeah.
So that's why you mostly see gold players working on animations, because honestly, they're the highest paid, most talented players in the league. They should have themselves figured out at that point, and they should be working on the luxury of the SFL, which is animations.
Yeah, it's a frosting, not the cake.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, you know, so we got through quarterbacks, we got through running backs and fullbacks. So then next time, probably not next week. I think next week I'm going to be having maybe next week. We're up in the air right now on. Oh no, never mind. Next week is Thanksgiving week. I'm taking a break. We're taking a break. There's not going to be a show next week, but we'll recap hopefully the December 1st. Hopefully maybe Andrew, if you're available Wednesday, December 1st, we could.
I can try to make it.
Okay, we'll catch up, get back into this, and with wide receivers and tight ends and the rest of the offense. Thanks so much, Andrew, for joining us and laying down the smackdown of animation knowledge for us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Daniel, do you have any last words or anything you'd like to share?
No, I think that was a really good masterclass, because as we know, I don't have any animation. You don't have any animation. So it's good to process this knowledge and get it in as we can, because we're still fairly new as well. So, and for the minor leagues especially, this is things you need to know when you go into the pros.
Yeah, and between now and hopefully the December 1st, feel free to jump over, ask myself or ask Andrew or other questions. Send us questions you'd love us to tackle around animations. We'd love to hear them beforehand. We can make sure that we go through and address them. I know I'm going to have some hopefully some comments and some perspectives of what I've read in my own research around linebacker animations when we get to that area. So I'll be able to contribute a little bit more on the defensive side there. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for the two of you. Thank you all so much for the listeners, for the watchers, the viewers out there. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Hope this was worthwhile, and we'll see you at the game on Saturday. So good luck, everyone, and wish you all a good night.